I'm gonna make a little quick video of something. There's a cat by the name of Nikki MGTV, and he talked about there was a specialist sitting on the steps in full uniform. I forget her name. I want to say in advance it was a staff sergeant minor, but the specialist was sitting there, kind of woke and hugging and talking to protesters. Um, about issues that's going on in uniform. Didn't have a unit patch on, but she was, no disrespect, a little out overweight, long hair, a white female, just giving her characteristics. And she gave the girl a hug, the lady that was interviewing a hug. She had a white kind of purse, which is out of uniform. And then the staff sergeant gets on and says, "Don't listen to ICE, and we need to be this, that." If you're not in, and he's a staff sergeant, so basically he's one step away from CNCO. He's mid-level. If you're gonna do it out of uniform, like the guy Nikki was saying, understandable. But when you're in full uniform, you set yourself up for UMCJ, if I remember that correctly, action. One person gave the actually article of what you can be, Article 15. But I gotta say this: the military is not for wokeness. There has to be. Look, I went in '84. I went National Guard, Armed Reserve. I went in active in '89. I went back active in '06. I'm not saying this to brag about my little military service, but there have been many women, especially in the '80s, even going back into World War I, that contribute. It was actually World War II that contribute a lot. Vietnam War, black women, women in general, to the war effort. What I'm saying is the military is a war fighting machine. It's about war fighting. It's about civil defense. It's about country defense, not civil defense, but defense of a country. I don't care if you're 11 Bravo infantry guy, special forces, Ranger, what, Delta Force, or you're sitting doing HR, human resources somewhere, a cook, whatever. The mission is war fighting and having a military to protect your country, to defend your country. I know there's a lot of other stuff that goes along with it. When I talk about political, we're talking about just, and I know the political conversation comes into the military industrial complex. But I'm talking about strictly the military. Your job is to prepare for war, train for war, and the inevitable that there's a war. Doesn't matter what your job is, whether you support or you're out there on the front lines. Your job is to prepare and be ready for war, train for war. Not all this woke stuff. And I used to be more of a liberal guy than I am now, sadly. But nevertheless, your job is to train and prepare for war. All this woke stuff and kissing the other person and all this, especially when you see some of these senior NCOs into this E78s talking this nonsense, this woke stuff. And I'm not no Donald Trump fan. The head of the what's it, HAPSEC? I'll give him his respect. Secretary of War HESEC, but they do make some valid points. I don't agree him going disrespecting military leaders. Something could be said about their weight. Let's keep it a band. I'm 60 years old. I ain't in the best of shape, but I'm 5'10", 180, 90 pounds. But these guys need to they need to lead by example. But at the end of the day, it's a war fighting machine. A lot of this other stuff we need to let go. What they need to concentrate more on is SA in the military, because women are doing pretty good doggone military after decades of fighting silently. Black people in the military in the 80s, it was like what 50% of the military was black. And we only made up, like they say, 13% of the population. So we have made leaps and bounds since the integration of the military. What after World War II, the President Eisenhower, was the most successful de discriminate. Oh, sorry. What am I saying? Desegregation program ever. It was started in the military in 1947, and some units didn't get desegregated up until 1950, 51 during the Korean War. So we need to get away from this woke stuff in the military and there's all this bull crap bullshit going online, and they make your money, but keep it within reason. Stay away from all the silliness about the military and attitude and all this stuff. That's not the military. That a lot of this stuff should be actually banned from YouTube. Anyway, that's my little take on it. Outie.